Oh my God. Roast me. Cook me. I
don't
deserve it.
even start talking and here she goes. Daddy motherfucking gang.
That just
It
made me wanna
is. No, stop. It is your fucking founding father back on it again for another motherfucking episode of Call Her Daddy. I am sitting
I'm not tearing up. I'm not about to puke and shit myself. I'm actually like losing my mind.
Dude,
I'm just freaking out.
Guys, I'm here with Tana.
When I just heard you say that shit in real life, I lost my fucking mind. I can swear. Obviously, I can swear.
Are you kidding me? I'm like, how many dicks have you had inside of
Not-
you at once? Go.
Let's go. Not me not knowing if I can swear or not.
No,
Like, I'm
yeah.
literally still a piece of shit.
Tana.
I am so sorry.
Welcome. No, welcome. No, you're like, fuck. What do I say? Welcome to Call Her Daddy.
Thank you so much for having me. I don't know why.
Second time's a charm, sweetheart. Go
Call Her
fuck
Daddy's
yourself.
doing charity this month. For real. I feel like a kid, like getting just like a special day. Like I'm like, it's a treat.
It is a treat because
For me only.
let's talk about this cunt. And I'm going to use that word very strongly. No.
As you should.
No, okay, so.
No, as you should. Like.
Fuck you. Daddy gang, listen to this. If you guys are not aware of how this relationship started.
I don't even know if there is a relationship. I think
There
you
is
should
no
hate my guts. I think it should be like full like who just walked out of a podcast.
No, it's true.
Out.
We had a rocky start. So about 2 years ago, Call Her Daddy started, and the first guest that my co-host and I decided that we wanted to have on Call Her Daddy was Tana. So right there.
Still don't know why.
Like, whoa.
Like
I don't either.
Wrong from the jump.
Wrong from the jump.
However,
I
am a fucking idiot.
And did you know that you were going to be the first guest?
No, to be honest with you, like I didn't realize
even know who we were.
No, I didn't realize until today the severity, the drasticity of how much of a piece of shit I was.
Why?
Like because I always heard other people's versions of this story.
Right.
And I sat down today and I deep dove. Can I talk to you about how I feel?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Here we go.
Into this scenario.
Because guys, Tana ditched us. She never came on the show. Yes.
Yes. I did take part in that.
Yes.
And I think as I should start off with Call Her Daddy, I think I should just start off with an apology.
Wow.
To you.
This is big. You're winning points.
No, I shouldn't.
Okay, here we go. You're right.
I watched that video today, and it's this. I definitely think that was during the time, not that this is like an excuse for it, where I was just the biggest notorious piece of shit for being such a piece of shit, just late to everything, not showing up to everything, not whatever. And it came to a head like during that time, as it should have. I deserved that shit, and I watched that video today.
What video is it?
The like TANA MONGEAU fucked us over. Like the original. First of all, you should have gone literally harder. Like you should have made 8 videos. You should have, and that's I think what angers me the most about it, because I think back if I were in your shoes, that's what I was really watching it today. Like I wouldn't have been as nice as like y'all were. Like watching that, like I sucked so bad, and then you guys were still so classy about it, and it's crazy. And then I was thinking, even at dinner, Alex and I like went to dinner before this, and we were sitting there, and you were like, I look at it as a blessing in disguise, because then we just like never had on any guests, and like, you know, now everything's like doing so well. As you have like the biggest podcast in the world, she's like, it's like doing well, so humble. But like you're still so nice about it, and I would be like, fuck that cunt to the grave.
Yeah. Well,
so
okay.
I am.
No, but it is kind of like fuck you. But
It should be.
What I was trying to explain is in Daddy Gang, you guys can now, if you are a OG Daddy Ganger, you understand that as much as at the time Tana was hungover and sick or whatever it was day in New York.
We should dive into
which
it.
we're going to.
As we should.
I literally look back on that, and it was a blessing. Honestly, I know that sounds like I'm being a bigger person, but basically we ended up making the decision that we were just not going to have guests on, and because
I fucked these bitches up so bad.
It really ended up being, I think, like one of the biggest reasons, like part of why it got so big is because most podcasts have guests on it, and for so long we didn't. So it was almost a blessing that you were a bitch that day.
Just imagine.
Let's explain like what happened that infamous morning, because you want to know what I remember. I kind of black it out because it was just like so traumatizing.
I really do,
but
and I am so sorry.
No, literally, like fuck you. But I remember seeing your social media. I just watched your shit. You were hammered.
No, I know.
You were like blackout.
No,
I remember seeing your story, and I'm like in the studio getting ready, and we saw like 3 hours ago, she was like hammered walking the streets of New York City, like while the sun is rising, like blackout. And I was like, oh, this is like really good. Yeah, like I can't wait to see her today. Like this is going to be great. Never showed up. We waited for hours.
That's the difference between me now is like, I can't say I still wouldn't walk through the city of New York blackout drunk, but if I had an obligation, A, I would know about it. We have to get into it. I didn't even know it was happening. Like, and B, I would still show up. Like, holy fuck.
Right.
But we do need to get into like the logistics of this moment. Watching this video, even that, I was just like Tana, if you're gonna be a fucking idiot, like do a better job. And then even it's like watching it now, like I look back and I'm just like, you fucking idiot.
Bitch.
Like I still feel that. I'm happy to not be that bitch now. But at the same time, like it's one of the biggest L's I think I've ever taken. Well, but y'all bossed up on me. Y'all said like you know what, like that's why now I'm like, you shouldn't even have me on. You should
but you know what? There's a lot of people, and so I'll explain that to you. So there's a lot of people that when we were posting out at dinner together that were like, why the fuck are you gonna have this girl on your show?
As they should.
First and foremost, I wanted to really go and get those drinks with you, and I remember like your assistant kept being like, you can bring whoever you want. I'm like, I'm fucking going alone. Yeah. And I want to show up to this fucking dinner alone, and I really want to see like who the fuck is this girl Tana, and I wanted to go there because if I really felt as though you were a majority of the part of what people think you are on the internet that hate you, I was going to be reluctant to have you on the show but I didn't think you were going to be a dick. And I do want to clarify that meeting
Stop
you in person.
Me.
No, I'm not. Trust me, I'm not. Because I asked you like 3 minutes into our dinner, I'm like, so are you a narcissist? And Tana's like sweating. She's like, well, you know.
No, I'm sweating, puking, but you made me gain so much like respect for you. Because it's like, I mean, I've always respected you. What have you ever done to make me lose your respect?
Right.
It's out here. I'm out here making you lose mine. But I'm saying, like, sitting there and being like, damn, like, she showed up alone to actually have a conversation with me and find out and the fact that even just, like, your time now is so much your money. Like, everything, when you come out to Los Angeles, like, the fact that you actually took the time and I didn't know that either because I didn't know, even this going into it, I didn't know, like, I was like, what does she want with me? Like, I suck. Like, she's goated. Like,
no,
like,
I think at first you thought I was going to try to.
Yeah, so I was like, I thought we were just going to get drunk or you were trying to fuck me or trying to expose me. God only fucking knows, really, like, you know. And then I went into it and you were like so intelligent, like actually you were curious, like you were like, so why the fuck were you like this? Who the fuck are you now? What the fuck is your life? Should I even have you on my shit? And it was like dope. I don't even know, like breaking down that wall.
It was, and I think that's where we can kind of get into this episode of when we posted those pictures on the internet. Yeah, the amount of people, dude, the amount of people that love you. And then the amount of people that fucking hate you. And like my Twitter was
I saw
I was going the fuck up. My mom literally texted me, was like, hey, so like what is this drama? Like are you sure you're making the right decision? And that is literally no, she was like being cute, but I was like, you know what? That's why you're like,
you can still go. No, like, but I'm saying like
I can leave.
It's not made, it's not uploaded. Like
no. That's the thing. I don't give a fuck. I make my own decisions, and I like to meet people and be like, I met you and I sat with you at a dinner, and your past mistakes or whatever you've done in the past, like sitting with you for over an hour, I was like, she seems like a decent fucking human being. And that's why I want to talk to you about like all of your issues or whatever the fuck is how you've so many issues.
A, you're gonna be here for 24 hours.
Yeah, let's go.
B, the fact that you did that just shows a lot about your character. It's funny because it's like really like actually like getting to know you. I see why Daddy Gang is like, they would kill for you. I see why they hated me for years, as they should have, as you still should. Right. I think you should be like fully mean to me for the first 30 minutes. The fact that I ever even like made the two of you so scared to not have guests.
Yeah, like, it like traumatized. I
traumatized the biggest podcast host in the like. Yeah. It's such a fat ass and I just don't, even though like, you know, like she thinks I'm nice now, guys, like don't let me off.
No,
like,
I don't think you're like the nicest, but I definitely do have like a lot of respect for what you're doing because I feel like you've been canceled so many times. And like we were just saying, you're still here. You're still here. Like, why are you still here? We're calling you like a cockroach.
I was literally just saying off camera to her, like, I'm a cockroach. I never die. I don't know. Like, I don't know why I'm still here. I wake up every day and I'm like, God, like, you can take it all away. Like, I get it.
Right. No. Over editing photos we have to talk about because you made me fucking scream, dying, laughing. Literally, we're at Catch. Okay. And I look at Tana and I go, Daddy Gang, I have two things to bring up to Tana. One, your apology video is literally dog shit, horse shit. Like, you're not talented because of that video. Single-handedly ruined your entire career. You are fucking awful. Quit now while you're ahead.
Dude, I swear to God, that was Anne Facetune. She was like, your video was the worst thing ever. And like, why do you Facetune like that?
I was like, we need to talk about over editing Tana.
I liked her.
No, literally. No, but you know what? Tana, it's funny because I have so much respect for you. You've talked about editing your photos, right? Like, oh, I got to go Facetune that bitch or whatever. Or maybe I'm making that up.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so-
deeply. I've been
so
sponsored by Facetune.
Do you?
Like, I am like.
You should get a sponsorship with
I have.
them. Oh, you do?
Yeah, like
Okay,
I did that.
Oh, perfect. Do you edit your own photos?
Yes, I do. Sometimes I don't.
Okay.
Now I'm making such a surplus of content for so many different, like the streams of shit.
Right, so
that
you
it's
plan it
like
some people.
I just took 500 OnlyFans photos and then like a brand deal
Yes.
for Instagram and then like something for this brand that's like e-commerce and then like a magazine cover. Like if I were editing that all, I swear to God, I would
no,
spend all my time
you would-
Facetuning. There are days. Yesterday I spent 5 hours editing photos, like just
the
sitting
fuck
there
up.
like smoothing because it's like you'll have 100 and the like what the magazine will want all 100 and
Wait,
like
I love that you're honest, and I think
so-
that's why people love you is you're honest about it. Because I'm like, okay, if you're I don't understand.
To be
How-
honest, though, I think that there was a point in my life
It
that
got
I
too-
took it way too far.
I've talked about that too
during
in
that-
college.
And even still, I'll like teeter because like now I don't even know what's like right or wrong. I'm just like
Right.
fucking like in
Change-
boa, like drunk with TikTokers, like reshaping my ass, like not giving a fuck with this bad. So I've had to chill in that sense.
Yeah.
And that there were like 2 or 3. It wasn't even one, like big Facetune scandals where there were some where it was like I posted fan edits that were just heavily edited, and some where it was like there was a day where
Dude, what?
what I did to my body this day in editing
Truly shocking.
no was so unacceptable. That was the day, not that day, but the scandal that I realized like if you want to do this, like go to the gym or get ass shots, bitch,
Literally.
it's better than like what the fuck this shit is. And I started like actually caring about like working on my body and shit. But there was a day where I was in Mexico with all my best friends. I'll just never forget it because I'm an head ass. I was in a bikini. I had like a tie, it didn't fit me. Oh my God, pale, just fugly, and I'm just drinking like pina coladas all day, like just fat, like
Getting fat.
just a fat bitch cocktail. Like just what the fuck can I drink to be a fucking beached whale on this shit in fucking Mexico? What can I drink? And my friend was like proposing to someone, and it's like now I would be smart enough. Oh, someone's proposing. That means lots of photos. That means if you're gonna Facetune something that you're posting, at least look like whatever the fuck your Facetune is. You had us. I've gotten to the point where I like if I'm gonna act like that, I think accordingly. However, at that time, my friend was like, "Let's take this photo on the beach," and I took this photo, and I looked like a sea lion, bro. I looked. Dude, so disgusting. And I sat there on the beach and was just like, reshaped.
Zoom.
It
Like
was
Victoria's
like affecting
Secret.
her arm. Like she was like 6 inches from me, and because I was dragging my ass in like so much in areas, her arm was like out like that.
You're
type
like
of shit.
literally reshaping like your entire body.
Existence.
Like, and
My
if you
soul.
know, and how scary when you do the before and after, and it's like, whoa.
I've screen recorded some and debated posting them to TikTok because it's like laughable. It's disgusting. I'm gonna start doing that. I think this just inspired me.
Wait, this is
Hello.
hilarious.
And so, but anyways, and then I just the face, you know, it was a whole reconstructive surgery moment. So
Literally,
don't forget
not
about the
even you.
face,
Yeah, of course.
The hair, the nails, face, titty, booty, and toes, shorty. I Facetuned it all. And then my friend's like vlog of him getting engaged went live. There is a screen grab of me looking like maybe like the Michelin Man, like maybe like the maybe like
The walrus that you felt.
just the disgusting, exactly how I felt, and then the Facetuned side by side, and then it was like months later. It wasn't even time. It was an award show, the Getty image, and then I posted the fan edit, and it was like. All I can think about in the before and after of that one was whatever was done in that edit to the bottom of my face. My face is like jumping at the gym, like up and down in the before.
You had like double chins, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden you've like this snatched perfect
Yeah.
jawline.
And
you're
that
like,
was the
what
moment I
fuck?
realized, like,
whoa, taking it too far.
Yeah, and they just went so viral, as it should. I would clown myself, you fucking
No,
head ass
totally.
bitch.
Well-
And I talked about Facetune, but that was when the point where it's like your perception of yourself
Yeah.
is no longer what it is. You're trying to live up to this highlight
Yeah.
reel, this image that you want people to think you are, and like all
Right.
that
But
type
I
of
think
shit.
this is the shit that is crazy about our generation is everyone is doing it, and like what I
Everyone
don't
lies.
understand is
I have seen.
everyone.
Think of a celebrity. Think of a bitch.
No.
Think of a famous bitch. I've seen this bitches before and after.
And they don't look-
And they're crazy. It's actually
Right.
one of my favorite things ever is when you become friends with a celebrity and the first time you get to see their Facetune before and after.
Oh my god!
yeah.
Like, and have you had girls that you take the you take the photo and they won't let you post it until they Facetune
That's
it?
every famous girl.
Wait, really?
Yes, they all just like that's the thing too is I think that's why I fuck with like Nikita. Nikita's one of the only people where it's like her and I became friends because it was like, you either don't Facetune, like you're like you and you're famous as shit and you don't give a shit. And like, I could just tell, I can look at a bitch and instantly know which one they are. You know, either you don't at all or you're completely engulfed in it, obsessed with looking like this image you need to maintain, obsessed with like, yeah. And I had to find this kind of like gray area of like, okay, I realize a lot of people are looking at my shit and people follow me on Instagram because they love perfect, fun images. And if I can make something better looking, I probably fucking will.
And I get it.
But when you're changing who you are completely, it's
well, I think that's where it gets scary to then walk into a room if you don't look like that.
I was doing that.
And that's where and then it fucks with you literally, because then you feel insecure, like, oh, my body doesn't look like that, and like I'm embarrassed.
And in Hollywood, it's not even like I'm insecure and I'm embarrassed. It's like, how do I start to look like what I am making myself the ideal to look like? And that's why you see little like Kylie Jenner. It was like she was bullied her whole life about her lips being small, and then it's like she edited her shit big, and then everyone's like, oh my god, you're beautiful, and then she did it, and then everyone's like, oh my god, you're a fucking fake bitch, and she's like, but you all fucking told me to do this shit, and then I was just trying to look like what I was doing, and then it was like, it fucked her up psychologically till she dissolved them at 22, you know? Like, it, like, I think one of the biggest lessons I had to learn with Instagram, and something that I try to teach people too, because even now, like, the TikTokers, like I said, like, I'll meet these famous TikTok girls with like 6 million Instagram followers. Like, I Facetune just like you. Like, I learned to Facetune by looking at your face. You know what I mean? So it's like, comparison is the root of all evil. Yeah. Like, if you're scrolling through your Instagram saying, why can't I be this bitch? Why can't I be this bitch? Why can't I look like this bitch? Why can't my hair be like hers? Why can't I wear like hers? Why can't I date this guy like her? Why can't I, like, you're always gonna fall short in your mind. You like, you know what I mean? So it's like, always remember, Instagram is everyone's highlight reel. It always will be. You're showing what you want to show, and you can't compare yourself to people's best moments.
Well, it's crazy because I feel like people always joke about like, oh, like, you guys seem so similar, but I feel like we have such different lives.
That's what's funny is that's what's so ironic is my perception of you. Like, when I first met you, you're saying like my first impression. Well, first of all, I just want to say I came home and everyone, obviously, like everyone in my house was in the movie room done like, so how did it go? So how did it go? Like, did she hate you? Like, what happened? Like, just because they like, you're the president of this like world. No, you are like, you are the president of like every bitch like me on this planet. And like, I fucked on you. You should hate me. Like, you should. And so all my friends were just like, did she fucking cut you? Like, are you friends? Like, what happened? And I literally was like, she is the most intelligent, polarizing, kind, like, person I've ever met. She's so smart. I see why she captivates a room. I see why Logan Paul was in love with her and couldn't have her. I see why. Like, I'm joking. That was just a joke.
Joke. Don't come.
I won't start with the dark jokes. Actually, it was too dark. That was just a joke.
Yeah, just
Daily
a joke.
Mail.
Just a joke.
And we're not. Fuck all that.
No. But that's cool that you said that.
No, but
Thank
like,
you.
actually, because it was just like the way you carried yourself, especially about this situation. You've shown me like so much humility that I think someone in like your position should not
have shown you,
or wouldn't, at least in this industry. We've talked, and that we're so different.
Yeah,
like that was another big part of my first impression is like, everyone's like, you guys are so similar. You talk about the same stuff. You guys are blonde. You guys like you're like twins, like dick sucking and twins. Like, that's literally what people say. But ironically, like we're so polar opposite. Right. And if anything, I'm so envious of you. There's so much about you that I wish I like, because it's like, you know, you never moved here. You're so New York. Right. You're so you don't give a fuck about this scene. You didn't let any of the negative sides affect you, and you really just like stayed in what you do, and like it's kept you so ridiculously authentic to the point that you stand out from like every bitch in this city. And I think that shit is so respectable. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Thank you.
And that's something that I am now, because that's always how I like used to be. And so much of this city and this world, like I don't want to say took that away from me, because it's decisions I made, but just altered me in a way that made me not like, so I see you and I'm just like, damn.
No,
like,
I appreciate that. And I think that like we can talk about your earlier videos, because I remember you being the Vegas girl, and I think that a lot of my fans are so terrified that I'm moving here, and I keep saying to them, like, I feel like had I done this when I was 21, like,
you can just tell a bitch went to college too when she talks. It's so hot. I'm dead ass. I'm like, fucking how many books has she read? But that is one thing that I really, it's like, because I see why your fans are nervous, and all fans, because like, just time and time again, we've watched every creator move to LA and become a completely different person. And it's like, I see why, because it's like, you know, like I moved out here when I was like pretty much like 16, 17.
Well, let's talk about your childhood, because you and I literally can't explain to you, like, when I think about the way you were raised and grew up, like, and there's no shade. I think I commend you so much for where we're sitting on this couch together, and we are from complete different backgrounds. And I'm not making
She's being so nice.
No, I'm not making like any excuses for you, but like I know how much my mom and my dad and my siblings
Like,
and
shaped you and stuff?
yeah, and so
Yeah.
when you don't have parental figures in your life, and so you lived in Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, to like answer that, like I've always kind of like felt, I guess, alone in this world, like in that sense. So you're right, and it wasn't even until I was like 18 that I realized, like, oh, every other person is the way they are because their parents and siblings shaped them, and I'm this way because I didn't have those. Like it was like even just realizing that, like, just was crazy.
That's why I think like, listen, I hear my audience, Daddy Gang, I hear you a lot being like, oh my God, stop having influencers on, and I do think like, unfortunately, it's really hard to explain to people that aren't in the industry like how hard it is to have someone speak into a microphone. Like you're used to it. Like when I had my mom on for my 100th episode, it took us 19 hours for her to even understand like how to talk into a microphone and get used to it.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
It makes my life a lot easier to talk to people that know how to speak on camera.
And that's,
so unfortunately that's just like what I'm doing right now because it's hard.
She's like, and unfortunately I'm sitting here on this
and
fucking
that's why
couch
I'm fucking sitting here with Tana.
But like that's why most podcast hosts have, sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
Have fucking hella guests on because that's what makes it easier. That's what makes it flow, and that's what makes you stand apart. And again, the GOAT, because you're like, I don't even fucking need that shit, bitch. I'm Alex Cooper.
Well, it's hard too because I think in Corona, like content wise, it's been difficult. But so I think that what I try to
you've been killing it.
Yeah, thank you. What I try to do is have people on like you or someone that maybe people are like, I am sorry, but I can't relate to Tana Mongeau. And like, I know your brand has been so relatable, but I think you've gotten a little towards LA that like 100%. After the Jake Paul wedding and all that shit, it's 100%. Like it looked like all you did was for clickbait. And so I want to kind of like go back to like where you're from and like there's a lot of people that listen to my fucking podcast that come from broken families and like I can't speak on that. And so I'm sitting with you and I'm like, talk to me. Like, and she's just like, let's go. Let's fucking go.
I 100%. That's why I started like what I started, because I was watching Shane and like he came from a broken home, and I vividly remember years. I literally just keep getting chills over and over again. It's so annoying. I hate simping. Like fuck.
Okay, you're fine. We got this. We got this.
But I just remember actually sitting in my house like at like 12 years old for like every single day, and like I would be watching Shane's videos in front of a computer.
Shane Dawson, if anyone doesn't know.
Sorry, Shane Dawson.
You're fine.
His videos in front of a computer, and there'd just be screaming in the back, like my family fighting, like dishes breaking, shit breaking, like my mom getting fucking like abused by my dad, and Shane was just playing. And I remember being like, if he can come from like this, I can do that and help people like me. Like that was the first thought I ever had about YouTube.
So and you're like, an only child.
Yeah, so it was like, and that was kind of the thing too, is it was like, there's no one in this with me, you know what I mean? So it was like I wanted to help other people who felt the way I did, so I sat down and made my first video. And that's why.
What was your first video? Do you remember?
My first video was a daily vlog at the mall I worked at, because I like worked retail. Like I was vlogging my day, and I remember my dad too that day like came to pick me up, and I was like, I had like an iPhone 4 or whatever, and he was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like it's never gonna fucking take off. Like literally it's so fucking embarrassing. Like, go back to work. And in this mall in front of all my friends, like my dad was screaming this shit at me, and like in the beginning too, every time I would bring out a phone or anything, my parents would hit it out of my hand. They'd be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh, so they thought like, you vlogging was embarrassing.
Not embarrassing. They're
just like, you're stupid.
They're just old. They're like 60. Like they didn't understand. And I think people who are, you know, like ill in the head sometimes when they don't understand something, like that's the way they are, you know? So it's like I don't villainize them for that.
Of
now,
course.
But
so that is already, I think, relatable to a lot of people. So you grew up in a household that your parents there was physical abuse, and you're sitting there being an only child by yourself, and YouTube was an escape.
Well, it was my only escape. It was my first escape. I know I hate saying this because it's so dark, and like call her daddy too. They're like, we just want to hear about her like Gluck 9000.
Like, we'll get there. Don't worry. We'll get there. Don't worry.
But like, I feel like I wanted to die my entire life. Like, and once I realized the concept of like, I don't want to live, like even just being like 8, like in my household, like I didn't want to until I found YouTube. Like it was the first thing I ever found that was like an escape. But it was a long time of that for sure. My coworkers, my friends, like, and I dropped out of high school too. So it was like all my friends were like, what the fuck is this? Like, you know what I mean? Like I knew everyone was talking, pretty much except for Amari and Ashley. And again, why I ride with them now. Cause everyone was like, what the fuck is this bitch doing? Like she dropped out of school and is talking to her phone. Like
talking to herself.
Think about that. Like that's not, you know, so it like no one obviously like that, it comes with that. But I've also always been like the weird kid, like, you know. Like,
I want to ask you, like, when did you start drinking and doing drugs?
When I was, in 7th grade is the first time I remember, like, smoking weed and wanting to drink. But I even remember being in, like, 5th grade, and it was, like, you know, shit that like
Right.
I was friends with the bad kid, like the bad kids, you know, and
Right.
it was like it was shit that was being like my friends in middle school do that, like it. So
Right.
it like definitely like 5th grade shit was.
And
probably
were your
introduced.
parents even?
My dad was an alcoholic his whole life, so
Got
like
it.
I was introduced to the idea. He stopped being an alcoholic when I was born, but had far many other issues to make up for that.
Of
so,
course.
you know, thank God he wasn't also an alcoholic.
Right.
And genetically, it was very in my blood as well.
Right.
So it was just something like that like I knew. And I grew up in Vegas, which is like obviously a city where alcohol, drugs, and gambling and like sex work are
Right.
the only things that make that city thrive. So you are raised to think that the rest of the world is kind of like that, even
Right.
if
That's
you
like
think
normal to you.
Yeah, like I was like raised in like casinos and like
Dude.
drunk environments. So it's almost like by even just the age of like 5th grade, I was like, this is what life is. Like my teachers were drunk. I remember my teachers in school because I grew up in bad, like not the best areas. I went to not the
Right.
best schools. And think about it, Vegas.
Dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, I remember being in like one of my first houses. Like it was like I was going to like 2nd and 3rd grade, and it's not like my parents were putting me to bed. Like I never had like it wasn't like bedtime story. It was like, oh, we're gonna fight till like 3 a.m. and like my kid's gonna fall asleep, and then like, you know, sometimes they'd be parents and like wake me for school and stuff. And but it's
Right.
like my mom wasn't up like making breakfast. Like, you know, my dad was like trying to cover up for her while screaming about it because he had to go to work and bitching out. Like it was just
Right.
always, there was never structure implemented. And then obviously also just the turbulent like household and lifestyle kind of made it to where it was like I was a bad kid. Like, you know, I was staying
Right.
up all night too because my parents were fighting. So I was sleeping in school by like 4th and 5th grade. Like it was never, and then like I would get in trouble, you know, and it's like normally you go home to your parents who like teach you why you're getting in trouble.
Right.
And it's like my parents were going in like trying to fight the teachers and shit and like just like absolutely. So it's like I never.
So you drop out of high school.
Yeah, so by sophomore year, it's like like I was just a fuck up in school my whole life.
Right.
And problems manifested also. Obviously, like how bad my childhood was at like 5 years old was like far less bad than how it was by the time I was a sophomore. Like my parents fighting got worse, the abuse got worse, we
Right.
got poorer, like just poorer and poorer and poorer. So the fighting became worse, and it just, which obviously affects, you know, like how you are in school. It affects your whole
Totally.
fucking life, you know. So by sophomore year, it was like my parents were fighting till 5 a.m. I was sleeping through school. They didn't even care to wake me anymore because I was so like tired. I just wouldn't go to school for weeks on end, and then the school would like reach out, and there were these people called like truancy officers who would show, and I was so depressed. It's so sad because you look back and I know that all that ever was just like being raised terribly and like extreme like mental disorders, chemical
Right.
imbalances from like I was just so depressed. I was sleeping all day, couldn't even get up to
Yeah.
go to school at like a freshman, and then my parents obviously weren't like, oh, she's depressed, she needs medical help. They wouldn't. I still am missing teeth from like the dentist appointments they wouldn't take me to. I probably went to the doctor a handful of 5 times like my whole life. So like by the time I got to this age too, like the trauma with all that shit was in like terrible places. Like that's another time. But I'm saying,
Fuck.
so it's not like they were gonna get me psychological help. You know, they were like, you
Right.
fucking piece of shit. We have the worst fucking kid ever. This is why you fucking suck. It's all your fault. Like, you know, like
Right. It's always
you
the
should
kid's
die.
fault.
We should have
Yeah.
aborted you. Like I remember my
Right.
parents literally like just screaming that shit at me type shit. And then so truancy officers would start to show up all the time, and then that would get so bad. I remember my parents just like literally like us physically fighting over me going to school. And then that obviously 2 years sophomore, that makes you hate school because
Dude,
it's like
it's such a
so it
you were stripped of your childhood essentially because
100%.
when you
Which is why I
grow-
was reckless, I think,
right,
too. 'Cause it
right.
was,
Well,
like,
what else?
I
are you gonna
dropped
do?
out. I started partying all the time. I fell in with like I was selling drugs. Like I've done it all in that sense.
Were
like,
you
of
living
just
with your
that.
parents still then?
No. I moved out I moved out before YouTube. Like
Wow.
I moved out, then dropped out, then started YouTube. Like my home life was so bad at 15. I remember there was this day, dark, that my dad, you know those like really big MacBook bricks, like
Yeah.
the MacBook chargers? Like we were fighting over some shit, and he like picked one up that was mine and threw it at me and hit me in the head, and he knocked me out. And I remember waking up and I was like, I can't live here anymore. Like I don't care. Like if I'm 15, like I'm not gonna live in this environment. So I was like, I'm getting a boyfriend and I'm living with him. So I started dating this guy. He was so like every guy was terrible, obviously, 'cause think about the environments. And then started living with them, and then it was like obviously I wasn't going to school at that point because of all the things I'd enveloped myself in and like whatever. And so then it was kind of like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna start YouTube because what do I have to lose? It was more so like there's nothing I'm passionate about. There's nothing I care about. There's nothing I have to live for. Like,
That
why
dude,
not?
It's so dark, but it unfortunately, like when I look back at your YouTube days, because I remember watching one. It's so crazy to watch you like in your first YouTube videos. I think how you got also so huge was because you did have that like nothing to lose mentality. You're talking about shit. You were one of the first people I remember on YouTube talking about sex, drugs, alcohol,
Yeah.
everything in a way that like someone like me that grew up where like I can't get away with anything in high school would look at you and be like, oh, I'm like kind of secretly jealous of this girl because she can like go drink and do
not
drugs.
give a fuck.
Exactly. And so there was a line of like you had there was no limit for you. You could get on and talk about drugs at that age. It was like, what?
Not that anyone cares, but I don't think I've ever realized that until right now. So if I just am super revelational over here, like,
no,
don't
it's
mind me.
fine.
But I don't think I ever realized that. Like, that was it. Like, when people really are like, why didn't you? Like, I've always just not given a fuck. But that was a layer
Dude,
that I had nothing to lose. Like, because it was like, this was the only thing I've ever cared about, the only thing that's ever saved me, the only thing that could ever take me somewhere. The only, like, I'm at rock, but where am I gonna go? Like, like it's death or up, you know?
No,
like, it
like
literally,
so dark, but
like,
straight up. And I think like a lot of people always ask me about Call Her Daddy, like, oh, like how were your parents reacting to it? I was talking about sex, so it was like I had my parents in the back of my head, but they were so supportive. When you're making those videos, you weren't like, I wonder what my parents are gonna say when I go home tonight.
No,
like,
yeah,
you didn't
I wasn't.
have.
Yeah, 100%.
So it was kind of like, what, why not?
100%.
So,
and that's where all the story times came from too, because it's like I was so reckless, I didn't give a fuck. I wasn't, you know what I mean? Like I never like it brewed. And in Las Vegas, Nevada, where everything you can turn to is like fucking insane, and just like it's like a mini LA too, like in that sense. Like,
when did you get big? Like how did it? Was there a big moment, or did you just slowly grew over time?
No, the way I remember it, I guess. I mean, it happened very, very like fast.
Okay.
And it obviously wasn't something that I ever was gonna detest, because it was like, this is the best thing to ever happen to me. This is my live stream. This is all I've ever wanted. Fuck yeah, let's go.
Right.
I hopped
You had
on
no
the train.
money.
I said bye. Yeah, exactly. I was broke as shit, and my parents aren't gonna pay for college. I can't go to college. I'm a dropout. Like it literally was like the only thing that made sense for me to literally keep living. Like type shit. And so I worked multiple retail jobs, because that was at 15. After I moved out, that's what I did. Like the legal age of hire in Nevada is 15. So the first thing I did was like, I'm finding a job to save the money so that I can get away from my parents, because I can't go to school in an environment like this anyways. Like maybe one day, like I'll learn all the shit that I didn't. Oh, that just made me want to cry.
Fuck. Dude, that's
But I'm
dark.
grateful that I did like get to learn all the, and I created a world for myself where I like get to, I guess. But,
but then when did you move to LA?
Yeah, so I was working, like I said, like retail, Plato's Closet, PacSun for like probably
Plato's
2 years.
Closet. Oh
Craziness, hectic. And then I started vlogging, and then like a month into vlogging at PacSun, my first boss believed in me. I'll never forget him. JJ, if you're watching this,
Oh
love
my
you,
God.
my guy. He was one of the first people to ever believe in me about it too, so I'll never ever forget it. And he was like, I just remember him always being like, I hope you get out of here. Like, I hope you.
Fuck. No, Tana's about to make me cry too, dude.
And I actually remember him being like, I hope you get out of here. And like, when I hit 100K, I quit, and it was like so happy, because it was.
Oh my God, we're crying. Tana's crying. Tana's
like,
crying.
To get out of this life.
No, but that's amazing.
I went on Call Her Daddy to cry.
Fuck. Dude, we're crying. Give us a minute. No, that's some dark shit, Tana.
Yeah, so I felt very like lucky to get out of that shit, if that makes sense, you know? There was no option, because like Amari, that's one thing like too, is Amari like almost like, I hate to say it, but like endured a lot of the shit in my family with me. Like, he would come over and fight with my parents. Like there was a point in time with my grandmother, I'm like, may she rest in peace, but like not really.
Not really.
Like that, and obviously like but my parents, their ideals on everything were so fucked, on the world and shit like that. Like they were prejudiced, like just racist, like shitty white, like Republican, like from Texas. Like I'm talking about my own parents. Yeah, terrible. Now they've grown a little with the world now. Not that I really know, again, in the past couple of years, like whatever. I'm not here to talk my shit, but I mean, like I remember times in Amari, you know, growing up and coming over, and my parents would be like just shitty. Like the things they would say would be almost underlyingly prejudice. And I remember like there was a time when I was like, my grandma said some shit that was just like Texas, like bad, like racist. Right. And I cussed her out. It was one of the last times I like ever spoke to her, and I was like, I can never bring Amari around her again. I started never bringing him around my family, and that I remember that being the moment that I was like, I hate you people, because I love this kid. He's the only reason I'm fucking alive, and you think he's different than me. Like, fuck you. Like, I remember that was the moment that I was like, I literally, my grandma's dead to me. Like, you know what I mean? Right. So I like that. And then I instantly.
Also, if nobody knows who Amari is, it's Tana's best friend.
Yeah, he's my best friend. Yes. And so then I instantly just started going to his house every day, and his family. And it's funny, because like his mom is like, I mean, she's a little reckless and fun like us. Right. You know, that's why we're friends, obviously, me and Amari. But she's like a mom with her head on her shoulders. Right. And I remember me just storming through her door and her being like, what the fuck is this kid? Like, and
Like, who is this?
I commend her so much because I think any other parent would be like, get that fucking thing
Get
so far from my
literally.
kid. Like, I would. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I would be like, get that stupid little bitch so fucking far away from you.
No, like, literally.
Like, she's going to ruin your life. And Amari's mom, I feel like, was like, this girl has no one, and spent her time, like, you know, being like a mom to me and making Amari's siblings like mine, and his dad, like, and even that, like, his dad, you know, being like a black, like, African American man, and I come from these fucking like terrible, just like shitty,
Racist,
like,
yeah,
and it's like, and his dad taking me in and seeing like, no, like, she doesn't know any better, and like worked with me for so long on that, like, type shit. Like, just I commend them so much for what they did for me.
Obviously, there's so much shit on the internet of people being like, Tana's fucking racist,
Yeah.
Tana's fucking racist.
Facts.
And there are things in the past that maybe you did that allude to, oh, like, she fucked up or whatever.
Yeah, there are 100% so many things in the past I did that I look back and I'm like, that was fucking, like, those words you're tweeting, like, that was racist. I don't care. Like,
Right.
Yeah, you can blame it on all the shit we said, but it still obviously will always, like, anger me that I even ever put it out into the world, like, dumbass tweets and shit.
Right. But I also think about things that I did in high school that, like, when the shit that I put on the internet, and I'm like, the shit that I did when I was younger and I had the parents I have, the shit that you were doing, it's never okay.
Yeah.
But it's just to then for you to
makes
give
sense,
it
at
does.
least.
But I didn't know that story about Amari and his family and his dad and all that shit. Like, I don't think anybody knows everyone's full story. So that's why I think everyone deserves second chances. I'm not saying what you've done in your past is fucking
chance.
right. Yeah, literally 38th chance, you cockroach. But you've made shitty decisions,
100%.
but you also have owned up to them. However, in your apology videos at times, I'm going to call you out here.
Oh, we did. I did her. She literally, I sat down and she was like, that video was the worst fucking thing I've ever seen. It was so shitty. And I know, but you know what's funny is in my head, I was like, damn, I love this bitch. You said that was the first moment because I was like, she's real as shit.
Yeah.
Like, because you know what, I love that shit.
I said, Tana, this is the thing. There's a lot of people on the internet that are super formulated and perfect, and all their responses, like, no offense, but like a James Charles, it's like, he's like a robot.
But I'm not that.
You're not.
And
so
I tried to be, and I shouldn't have.
Exactly. So when you put out your videos, you're so authentic and you're Tana.
Yeah.
The minute you put out your apology video where like there's 200 cuts in it and you look like you're being scripted, it doesn't play for you at all because you're the complete opposite of that all the time. So unfortunately for like a James Charles, he can get up there and look scripted because he always does.
I don't know why I thought I could do that.
No,
I really did. I'm gonna be real with you. I thought that people would be like, oh yeah, she's like, you know,
no,
she got her shit together for once. It was the worst thing
awful.
I've ever posted.
Right.
But I mean, I guess to touch on what you were just saying,
right,
to the people that tweet me like saying like you're racist or you're this or like whatever it is, I stopped trying to prove myself because I was like, you know, I've done so much shit that it's like there are going to be people who hate me forever, rightfully so, and I'm not here to be like, please don't, here's my childhood, vindicate me. Like we just said, you like cancel culture isn't a thing. I'm going to wake up tomorrow and still be a person. So for me at that point when I was getting all those tweets, it was more like, okay, let's reflect, how can I be better? What did I do anything wrong? I'm going to apologize and then like figure it out from there. And when it came to that video now to respond to that,
right. No,
so shit.
So
like
shit.
I'm just like the worst. Like such a bad decision. When it came down to it, I was like, I thought about it for months too. It was just like, what do I do? Because it was like we talked about this a lot off camera, but it's like I grew up in this industry completely wrongfully thinking, you know, that the right thing to do whenever you're in trouble is just to not talk about it. So I waited so fucking long, like an idiot. Which now, like, I'm grateful to have learned that, and like we could get into that with all the TikTok kids and how I feel like I like am helping them or can or whatever the fuck. But like when it comes to that video, I was just like, I don't know how to do it, and I felt like I wanted to like James Charles, Tati, whatever the fuck, sit down and be professional. So I wrote out how I felt and then just like read how I felt and then cut it and posted it, and like and it was because it was like everyone was around me was kind of too just like, at this point saying something, and it's true, saying something was better than saying nothing. Right. But it's like looking back now, it's like, go live, bitch.
Yeah,
like,
and speak from the
like,
heart.
Do this. Like, I could have fucking came on Call Her Daddy and
literally
been like, Alex, like,
no, but literally, like, I'm not racist, and I know I made mistakes, and I know I've tweeted shit, and I know I made awful videos, and people make mistakes, and unfortunately, I think that, and I
executed it so.
Yeah, it really, it fucking sucked. You were literally a piece of shit, loser, awful. I hated every second of it. You should have called me and been like, can you please help me and like look at this. Did you consult anyone on it?
Kind of, but
like,
but it like I also felt like, to be real with you, like, and this is like dark to say, but it's like I spent so much of my career every time I was in trouble, like consulting people, like running to people. And I'm not saying that because I didn't consult as many people that this was right, because it fucking was. It was the worst thing ever. I should have consulted people. Clearly. But I'm saying, like, I didn't, you know, like TanaCon, like Shane saved me. Like every apology video, I called Shane, I called Jordan, I called my friends. I did, and it was like, at least like I can say from the bottom of my heart, lie detector, that every single thing I said in that fucking video, like I wrote it down. I feel that way. It came from my brain. I mean, I like, you know what else do you do? It's not like I ever knew what to do in those situations. And you're right. I slowly, like, it became, I had nothing. I went from having nothing to lose to slowly having things I didn't want to lose, and trying to keep what I'd built, because it's all I have. I have nothing to go back to. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I love this thing more than anything. And it's like, I look back at so many of the like cancel culture moves I made and videos I made, and I'm just like, you stupid.
But Tana, you're growing up like on the internet in front of everyone making these decisions. Like, I'm sorry. And I'm not defending you at all, but I want I really want everyone listening to this podcast. Picture yourself, like, something happens in your life and you have to get in front of a fucking camera and you make your apology video. How's it gonna sound? I bet a lot of them would fucking be shit.
I guess I've never thought about it like that.
It's not easy. It's not fucking easy.
But I'm also notoriously the worst at it. I think most people are like
really good at it.
It's easy enough for like James Charles to figure out, like, you know.
No. James Charles, like, like he can slap and like he does those things really well. But it is just something to consider. Like, I do want to break the third wall, where it's like, everyone listening to this, like, if you had to make a video for your friends and your family and it's apology to them, like, how would it sound?
Yeah, like, I think that it's a double-edged sword.
Again, we signed up for this life, but it's also like,
it's a double-edged sword, because it's like people want you to tell them everything about their lives, and if you don't, you're inauthentic and you're dishonest and you're hiding shit and you're a liar. But the second you do, you've now given them everything to pick apart, scrutinize, and hate you for. So it's like, which side of that do you want? Do you know what I mean? There isn't a, and then that becomes sitting in the middle and trying to find a level of acceptance, because that's the life that you lead as this. But it's not like you're gonna come online and bitch about that either, because it's like, I lived that life from a fucking mansion. I used to, like,
we're grateful.
I used to cry over far worse things with bugs. Like, I'll figure it out and do what the fuck I have to do to, like, help people, I guess, like, with this now. But it is like,
no, it's dark. I remember like seeing for the first time, because I've always watched drama on the internet, but I was having my own. It was recently something happened. I was reading DMs of people are like crazy on the internet. Like, they wanted me to continue to fuel the drama, and they wanted me to spill more tea. And I'm like,
and so many people do.
I could keep it going, but I don't want to do that. I want to like go make my money, make my show, make my fans happy, try to make good content. No,
because there was a time where I was like, "Fuck yeah, the drama's fun." Like,
and it gets clicks for a certain amount, but then it's like, at what point are you literally selling your soul?
And that's like where I feel like I found that. I got to the gates of that, and I was inside of that. Like, what it is like to have the option to walk down the path of absolutely like selling your soul, or to not.
Well, okay, Tana, we can quickly talk about this. Yeah, I think your career, like, when you look back, and this is unfortunately what happens to everyone, it's like you were getting famous because of your crazy degenerate life, and then all of a sudden now you are in a mansion and you're living. You lose
the relatability.
Yeah. Do you still think you're
family effect? You're this family that's like so fucking normal with your baby that everyone loves, and now it's like you're complaining about like the 8th landscaper didn't show up at 9 a.m. and your life is so hard, and it's like, what? Like, but it's crazy, because it's like realizing that it's like, I don't want to say how could that not happen, because there are people like you who stayed out of it. You waited till you were 20 years old to even consider moving to LA. There are ways to avoid letting this industry change you, and that's what makes people like you the GOAT, because I think that the average viewers don't realize it's like, why Miley's the GOAT. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the punches you have to throw at all times to not let this industry change you. It is easier to walk down the gates of selling your soul, because that's what everyone's doing. You look to your right and it's every fucking famous person you've ever seen like doing that. They're telling you that's what you should do. They're saying, here's the money and the cars and the no problems and the everything you've ever wanted if you do this. If anything, when you decide to not sell your soul is when your life becomes hard, because now you're going against everything this industry is. Like, if that, you know what I mean? Like,
I couldn't have said it better myself. I think that's why it's
especially the GOAT, Daddy Gang.
No, but I think that's why I get so hypersensitive when I see people in my DMs being like, oh my God, like, I feel like you're changing, and because you bought a nice couch and all this shit. And I'm like, if only you knew how far, like, I really could be taking it. And I don't want to live that life. Like, I want to move here and like be normal. And
I will
think
suck your cock right now.
No,
and
stop.
Top you up and say she's one of the most normal, like, famous people I've ever met. No cap. That's why you're here. in this position. I shouldn't be on this show. Should I walk away?
Yeah, get the
I
fuck
can
out.
still go.
I literally straight up asked Tana when we were at dinner. I was like, are you a narcissist? Which I know a narcissist would never be like, yes, I'm a narcissist. Where do you, like, who are, like, talk to me about, like, who are you? Like, what, like, do you worry about losing
fair.
yourself?
Yeah, I mean, the narcissist, I think I said this to you. I know I'm not a narcissist, but I do think that anyone doing what we do, even just sitting down back in the day, I struggle with self-love, especially back in the day. So it wasn't like I was sitting down being like, I love who I am. It was more so just like, I know this life isn't normal now, so I'm going to tell the story.
Yeah.
But I do think to maintain this job for 6 years, you're gonna have narcissistic, all social media influencers.
We all
every
do,
single one.
yeah.
Because it's like you're talking about yourself, your life to millions of people. All you're thinking about is how millions of people care about you and love you. All you're being told all day, every day is how fucking perfect you are and how much people love you and blah, blah, blah. So like this life breeds a narcissistic thought process. But I've always been such a depressive person that narcissism was never something that was really
right.
I guess, like, I mean, like, obviously, like, I'll make jokes about being, like, a hot-ass bitch and, like, loving myself and, like, you know, like, shit like that.
Are you super insecure or are you not? Or did you used to be? Like, what's your biggest insecurity?
Yeah, so, I mean, I've definitely wanted to kill myself a lot in this life. So, like, that is true.
Like, have you, like, you've wanted to, but are you, like...
I've tried. I mean, I don't want to say I've tried in like the general sense. I've never.
But like you've thought about it.
Well, I've taken drugs hoping they kill me. You know, taken a lot of drugs hoping they kill me, hoping I don't wake up. Like if they don't kill me, I don't get. Which is
right.
I mean, but that's suicidal ideation. It's not technically like wanting to attempt suicide. So I want to always clarify that like I'm, you know, but. Yeah, I've struggled with will to live a lot. This is the point in time where I definitely want to live the most I ever have.
Wow.
Like I'm definitely the happiest and like level-headed and like my will to live is higher than it's ever been.
Okay, well, that's amazing. I want to read. I wrote this down. I said I was looking at some of your videos. And I said, you described from January to December 2019, I crumbled. And by December 2019, I wanted to die. I wanted to kill myself.
Oh, honey, and it only gets worse.
It only gets worse.
Oh, you're sad now, Tana?
No, yeah, literally.
Yeah, that stupid bitch.
When you did the December 2019 and March 2020 videos about mental health, the MTV show, the depression you fell into, your past experience with abuse, and the trauma from that, you were basically saying like at first the industry was your way out of your childhood, and you were like,
and then you realize how corrupted that.
And then
is.
You're in the industry, and now it's like, what do you do now? Because now this is the corrupt part of it.
100.
Do you feel like you're fucking like? What do you even know who you are anymore?
Well,
like,
it's even funny just to touch on what you said too. Even that like by January of 2020, my titles were like how this fucking industry changed me, and my titles used to be like I sucked dick in a casino yesterday. Like you know what I like that. That's like that within itself, like just visibly seeing how much it does to you is like really really wild. And like that's why 2019 at that point was such a frustrating year for me. Because that was the year that I say I really like realized like you can either go this way or this way. And it was at that time where in the beginning when Jake and I like started everything, I hate to reference it to Jake, but that changed my life. Like who I was before that and like who I am now is polar, like entirely, because that was, I went from like more of just like a normal Vegas girl who lived in LA and like, you know, I'd done some LA stuff, like be with Bella and stuff like that and whatever, but I'd still, it hadn't affected me in like the terrible, terrible ways. I hadn't seen the terrible ways. And I'm not even saying it's Jake. I'm saying the fame of what that relationship did. So in the beginning, it was very like, you know, just wholesome, fun. Like we were hooking up obviously just like off camera, like we had been for like a minute and other times and whatever. And then we got like caught and like, which people thought was fake too, which I will say to this day, like if I mean, I don't know if I changed it all, if I could go back in time, but like that shit I wasn't doing that for all of that to happen. And so it started off as fun, but then it became like everyone loves this more than anything in the world. And then it was like when everyone loves what you're doing as a YouTuber, all you also know is to keep doing what people love. And if you love doing it, why wouldn't you? Like I was at that point, that was probably the happiest and most carefree I'd ever been in my career and ever would be, because it was the most amount of success. It was before, you know,
it was almost like
it was before the industry had like changed me in any way. It was before I'd experienced so many things like that. It was before, people always say that you either like live long enough to die a hero or to see your heroes become the villain. And that was that was the point where like I hadn't seen all my heroes become like, you know what I mean? That was the point where I hadn't seen the darkness, like in that sense.
So you were just really wrapped up in.
Well, then we just started doing it and life started changing. Just paparazzi everywhere, fans everywhere, like fans coming to my house, like fans like I don't know if it's Jake's cult following or people liking the relationship or what it was. I don't know. But it was just like my whole life became like overnight. Like it just absolutely fucking changed.
Well,
I couldn't be normal anymore. No one treated me normal. No one talked to me normal everywhere I went. I couldn't go anywhere without a phone in my face for like 6 months. Like it was like I wasn't a human. I felt like, and then it was like too, when you're being pushed into that, and Jake too, like Jake couldn't go anywhere without it being Tana. Where's Tana? Jana. When you're both being pushed into that, you gravitate towards each other too, because it's like no one else.
That sounds fucking miserable.
And
like it sounds happy but miserable, because I feel like it's almost like it's like when people are bipolar, like you're on a high, and then the minute that shit's about to fucking end, you are gonna go to the lowest point.
All of your self-validation and worth becomes and that's just what being a YouTuber is in general. So it was also the manifestation of years of that, but becomes based in if people like you or not. And that's, like you start to validate yourself in that. And then when you're doing it at such a high caliber like that, and with someone else who like is, you're thinking in the same ways because of this, like you're like, how can, like, what can we do? Let's keep doing this shit. Let's keep.
So when it ended,
but then it, like, the point of that is it just eventually, like, no matter how happy the shit makes you, the downfall, like, we were just in too deep. It was like, fuck this. I miss sitting in your bed and not having 83 people outside
and having to, like, post about it and make a fucking video about it. Yeah,
and just like people picking apart everything too. Like so many of our fights were literally just caused by other people. Like saying
it wasn't
shit.
Even between the two.
Yeah,
of you.
Like saying shit I said, or saying shit he said, or saying, or like I'm upset at you because you did this and you didn't mean to hurt me, but the whole world perceives it in this way, and it's like, well, I didn't mean to hurt you, and it's like, okay, but like the whole world thinks that you did, so now I look like an idiot and fuck you.
Right,
and like,
now we have to address it. Now we have to make a video about it. Now it's like your relationship is more for the world, and you actually didn't even be able to have your own relationship.
And it came to a point where it was like I'm Tana, and like I didn't want to be someone's anything. Yeah. And it was like, as much as I loved him and loved everything we were doing, and like if I could have made it work, I would have. Like, I wasn't ready to give up. And people always ask that. Like if I didn't care about him, I would have. When the going got tough, I would have got going.
Well, no, I have to say, like, hearing you talk behind the scenes about your relationship with Jake is really interesting. So that's another thing that, like, we don't.
She was shocked at the shit I'm
shocked.
saying.
Like, no, just at the authenticity of, like, because this is the thing, Tana. I think a lot of times, like, your life for so long, you were relatable, and then I think a part of it was like, does now everything she do, is it for clickbait? Is it for real? Clicks? Because Jake Paul kind of is like the head of the clickbait world of just doing stupid shit to get clicks, and I feel like you weren't in it until then. You got so big from it, but now,
especially just the wedding shit.
It got the wedding shit. That's when it was kind of like, it almost became like a joke at that point.
That's what I'm saying.
I remember people were like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
And there was so much real life mixed into something that was all, which it was just, it fucks with your head so much. Dude. Because like, you do love this person, but like, obviously, like, what? Like, we thought we were going to be married for like life, or like it wasn't like, on paper. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, so no, it's like.
It got to the point where I think that's when people, I think the wedding was when people were like, what?
Yeah, I think how far I took the public side of my relationship with Jake maybe made me lose a part of my credibility forever. 2019, I realized, like, I don't like what this can turn me into. I don't like what I've become up until this point. I don't like, in a lot of ways, who I've been for the last 9 to 10 months. I think a lot of the ways I am and have been for the last 9 to 10 months are a culmination of the way I was raised, this industry, like a lot of the scandals and mistakes I've made, and the way I have come from lack of structure and responsibility and timing, and but that doesn't excuse it anymore. Like, you're 20 years old now at this point, or I think I was 21, and so almost 2 years, and I was like, fuck, like, I don't want to live the rest of my life like this.
Like, what was your everyday life like? Like, how many drugs are you talking about? Like, what the fuck were you doing? Like, were you on Xanax all the time?
It's crazy in the celebrity lifestyle too. That's another thing, is it's like, especially me, I grew up like with the party girl image. Right. So it's like my whole life, to this day, it probably always will be. Paris Hilton really gave me a lot of advice on this. Like,
that's interesting.
My whole life is going to be people coming up to you with cocaine on a key, and a Xanax in front of you, and a Molly next to you, and $10,000 cash if you take it all, and and do a club appearance, and what it's the lifestyle does nothing but that's why all child stars, Hollywood stars, turn into addicts or die at young ages, because it's like Amy Winehouse, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's everyone in the world giving it to you because you're making everything, and that's too. It's like all my content and shit comes from the party girl aspect.
So they think when they see you at a party, they don't even know how many drugs you took, but they're like, Tana, you have to take these drugs. And even the
businessmen of the industry are like, give this bitch drugs to go tour so she does better. Like, it's like no one's on the side of you being sober. So the first 6 months of that, like, that of 2019, like shooting MTV, because it was like, we would shoot the show for like 12 to 18 hours all day, every day, where, you know, it's a million people telling you how to be, what to say, what this should be like. And it's your real life. So it's like staging fights with your best friend. They are the producers and the people with your best friends, with your family, with your management, with your boyfriend, with your whatever, so that they get this great ass show. They don't like, you know, it's on TV. Why would they care about it? You know, I'm not here to whatever, but
it fucks you up.
Like, I was doing that all day, I guess. And then at the end of the day, every day, I was taking a Xanax to the dome, getting as fucked up as I could, you know, hanging out with just the wrong people, the wrong, like, rappers, people who endorse that lifestyle, people, and cash cow shit, too. Everyone's like, take these drugs. Fuck yeah, let's go out. It's on you. Like, it's like no one is, I look back at the guys that just like took advantage of me. Like I had to walk away from Jake, like, cause I just didn't even want him to like see me like that. Like, you know, and then I was waking up every day and sobering up from the drugs, sitting in the makeup chair, just like fucking crying my eyes out, hating what I was doing, hating my life, hating like but hating myself, because it was like, I did this, no one else. Like I don't blame anyone but myself for this. So then it was like crazy. But anyways, like after it was like over, I'm surprised I lived through it. Like being really realistic, like it, which I hate to say.
No, but if you're pushing your body to do that much shit, it's like, dude,
yeah, like
at what point?
And like the way benzos work on the brain. Now I'm studying the brain so much, so I know all about why. Like it's crazy. But the way benzos work on the brain is they take away your REM sleep entirely, because it takes away the ability to store memories, because it's like the first thing it does, and that's what happens in your like REM sleep. Sorry, call her daddy. I know you just want to hear about dick sucking, guys.
No, we're getting there. I promise, people.
But so I was getting no sleep, like just exhausted, like the way it fucks with your head. Yeah. So then when I finally decided to get sober, it was just like withdrawals were terrible, and it was like all in the public eye. It's not like I'm gonna be like, what up, Hollywood fix? I'm withdrawing from Xanax. Yeah, my Xanax addiction that I've been doing, like, or just whatever. Like, you know, like it. And
I know that life. I've seen it closely.
Yeah, you were telling
me. Yeah, and
like
it's dark
people
as
close
fuck.
As fuck to you. It's so dark.
And working in that environment, it's like close to impossible.
100%. And then I was still like trying, and then it was like I would put on the face kind of and do it, but then every day like break the fuck down.
Did it affect your relationships, not romantically, but like your friendships? Like, is it hard?
Everyone was miserable. Yeah, I hate to say it. I don't blame them, but I'm saying even just Amari and Ashley were miserable. Seeing my best friends miserable and being like, damn, like they wanted to do this, but did they know? And that was the first time seeing, like we just said, all the negative effects of fame, like seeing them now affect these people that you've known from your childhood. Like that shit broke me so hard to like see, you know, like that shit really put them through that, make them struggle with substance abuse and them struggle with it. Not like, you know, just like what it did to everyone. My manager, I think it changed everyone's lives for the better and the worse. You know? I mean, obviously it's the same thing as what we just said. It's the same Hollywood bullshit. MTV did so many great things for me, but also so much
darkness.
Yeah, like mentally. But it's like,
so I asked you, I was like, Tana, like, do you ever just like, are you ever by yourself? Like, do you know who you are? Like, can you be alone?
Now.
Are you happy alone?
Now for the first time ever. And that's why I think I don't want to kill myself for the first time in my life.
Okay, I want to talk about your sexuality.
Oh my God, fun. Okay, so
let's get like more like disgusting. Here we go.
Wow, I'm excited. We're finally moving on. So
finally. Okay, so you're fucked up, you have trauma, and exactly. Fuck you. What you are hourly dating. I feel like you've dated more girls almost than guys at this point recently. Like what is your
That's all I've ever wanted to
what
hear.
What are
you
doing?
Name.
Like, are you bisexual? I asked you if you were bisexual. You said you're pansexual.
Yeah.
Can you explain to everyone the difference between those?
Yeah, it's interesting because again, I didn't even I never thought I'd be I'm pansexual. I never thought I'd be like that person because I didn't know what the fuck that even meant for like so long. Right. It's more so like I credit everything to the way I was raised, but it's like, it's not like there were any family values instilled in me. So I kind of looked at the world with my own open perspective. And then I was born and raised in Las Vegas, which is a very sexualized city. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was like hooking up with like 4 people at once at like young ass ages, like probably, which isn't good. It's what made me the way I am. But like, I mean, like, you know, like I was fucking crazy. So it's like, I was always just open and crazy. And then it wasn't, I was never like attracted to girls. I thought I could date one literally until like Bella existed. Right. Which is so like weird, but it was more so that like Bella had never dated a girl and we were kind of in like a similar boat, so we were like talking to each other, you know what I mean? Like, wow. Like I figured it all out very like real time in front of everyone.
Right.
And
that seems like it keeps happening in your life a lot.
Yeah, it's all that I really know.
Yeah, literally.
But that came with so many people obviously scrutinizing it, because people scrutinize what they don't understand. So it's like, you're not gay, you're not this, you're not. And I didn't know what I was. And then I obviously came to the realization after dating girls and after these relationships, kind of that it was more, or throughout them, like it's not a girl, it's more a human. Like like it was. I loved Bella. I fell for Bella because I was like, you know, I was physically attracted. Obviously, I'm like, this is the baddest fucking bitch on this planet. I still don't know why she did the charity work of ever looking in my direction. She probably doesn't either.
She's like, I still don't really know either, actually, Tana.
But and she just like didn't give a shit. It was like dope, and I was like, this is so hot. I'm so attracted to her. But then it was like.
So you started actually having like sex with girls, and you were getting scrutinized because people were like, are you doing this for clicks, and are you doing this for show?
I don't think people, but I mean, rightfully so. I'd been like very straight publicly like up until that point, other than talking about like threesomes and foursomes. And it's not like I was like divulging into anything with girls or talking about anything with girls until that point. And the first bitch you're gonna date is Bella Thorne. I see why everyone is like, no,
this is for clicks.
So then it kind of but that along with everything, especially when it's the truth and it's who you are, it's like over time people will see. So it was just like I knew in my head, like, if this is how I feel, I'm going to continue to date whoever I want, which I'm sure will probably mean other girls,
right?
Or, you know, and even Bella and I were like, it was like this whole throuple, and I was dating other people, and like I've always just been the way I sexually am in front of the world, like with no judgment.
Tell me about your blowjobs.
Oh my god,
dude, we're sitting. Okay, so Tana and I are
I'm
sitting.
like proud of my head game.
I'm
general,
so
girls,
proud of
guys,
you.
Everything.
I feel like I could tell like you're giving sloppy ass blowjobs.
Is one of my better assets. It can't talk,
dude.
It can't make apology videos. Like at least
it might as well be able to suck dick.
Yeah, it's for real. On God, I think it's all about the spit and where the spit. What the spit is. You know what? I always think about this when I'm giving head too, because it's like, well, guys and girls, it's different. We could really get into both. We could really just like do our thing, you know. But it's more. I feel like with a guy, it's about getting to the good spit, because you're not starting with the good spit. Your mouth's like dry. It's like normal. You have to like almost throw up. Like I feel like you have to really like get there to like
literally like you're gagging,
and then you're golden. If you can feel like if you have like the spit and you're not like,
dude, how fucked though when you're trying to give
in
head
your neck,
and you're
bitch.
like, no. Wait, Tana, I am so proud of you because I can just tell like you give good head, but
I'll eat your pussy after this.
Wait, we have to talk about that too.
That was kind of serious.
Do you think you're good at eating pussy too? You're like, I was being dead ass. I'm like, oh, I thought it was a joke. Okay. I'm like, stop sexually harassing me.
I won't eat your pussy. Unless you want.
No. Are you? Do you think you're good at that too?
Yeah, I think I just overall my head game is like super interstellar.
Okay, interstellar.
And maybe that's why people stay, because really, what else is there to like be
right? Yeah, you're annoying
like,
as
I'm
fuck.
Fucking annoying.
You're
imagine
annoying.
dating me too, like the unreliability
Awful.
and shit. Like throughout that time too. I think that's why I wasn't in relationships.
Wait, you're a nightmare. Who would want to date you?
Exactly. So you gotta make up for it somehow. So you learn to really just suck dick. And that's facts. I'm like not even joking. Like at least
you're like, it's all I've got.
Yeah, no,
it's all I've got.
Like literally, like I can make you Kraft mac and cheese and suck your cock, but I am gonna make your life a living hell, and like you should.
Wait, so guys are gonna be like, I love the way that she sucks my dick, which is amazing, and that's what daddy gang needs. Like, so okay, so let's talk about first and foremost, we need more specific. So like when you are going and approaching a dick.
Okay.
I
think it's all about your vibes then too.
Yes.
You know, like it's just like, I think it's the little things, because it's like, think about how many blowjobs or just head in general that anyone's received in their life. So it's about the things that you're doing differently at that point.
It's like the little accessories that you bring to the table.
Like literally,
bitch.
Literally, it's all about the accessories that you bring to the table.
Tell us about your accessories.
No, but that's what I think. I think it's taking a.
Here she comes. I think that taking a dick and shoving it down your
taking pants off with your teeth is always like, that's what I mean, like shit like that, like back arched, ass in the air, butt naked. You're taking their pants off with your teeth, bitch. Who does that shit?
Right, like looking up at them with your eyes,
right?
like
that's
disgusting.
What I'm saying. Looking into your soul, like you're afraid of me.
Like I want to eat your meat. Yes. Hello. Honestly, Tana and Alex talking about blowjobs, like this is what the internet wanted.
Not mental health math and then blowjobs, guys.
Wait, how this episode started now?
I
like,
knew it was gonna be like
this. And then you bring that dick down your throat.
I told every single person it's gonna be like 30 minutes of me like literally probably sobbing, and then 30 minutes of me like literally dying talking about sucking cock, and that's what it should be.
But that's what it should be.
And what do the people really expect at this point? Because we need to serve them what they didn't get.
No, it's true. Then they all started going to sleep, and now they're like, oh wait, now Tana's talking about sucking dick. Let's get into it.
Like, good morning. Like, sorry for the first 30.
I love that you're saying like you approach it like very sexual, like do something different.
Like, it's like if you're fucking someone too, it's like if someone fucks me, I want them to say it like changed their life.
Well, wait, let me ask you, because that's interesting. So obviously, you kind of remind me of me in the bedroom. I like really want to, and it's not that I'm. No, shut up. Hannah's like, she's like yes. I like hate the thought of like, listen, I want to have an orgasm, but I also am like a fucking psycho where I'm like, no, I want you to come and literally be like, I will never forget that specific
It's
cum.
almost better than an orgasm. It's like a mental orgasm.
No, it is, because you're like, straight up. Like watching him come, I'm like, remember that, you fucking bitch. Like, I own you.
Oh my God. I've
So,
never. We're
psycho.
Identical.
It's psycho.
For sure.
It like gets you off by watching him be obsessed
100%.
coming. You're like, I know.
The last person.
I'm amazing. I get it. Thank you.
Literally the last person I fucked. I'm not gonna say when. It could be
right. It could have been years ago.
Guys.
Last time Tana had sex was years ago.
Was like, I want to make you come now. Like, I want to make you come. And I literally was like, I could go to bed. Like, because in
You're
my
like,
head I was like, I served.
Right.
I don't even
right,
care. Like,
right.
I'm tired. Like,
Yeah.
sleep would be more of an orgasm to me because
Right.
like I'm.
You watched yourself take him down, and you're like, I don't even need to come. I already came in my mind because I just fucked you, and that basically
We're
fucked
the
me.
devil.
We are.
Like, we're like anyone's worst nightmare in that.
But it's fun because then you kind of like can own them if you're able to do that. Can I ask you
it
though?
also
If you're
makes people crazy though.
It does.
It makes people fall in love with you. It makes people crazy. And then it's like, then you have to have this level of transparency too, where it's like, just because I fuck you like this doesn't mean like I want anything other than
just fuck.
which, like,
yeah.
You'd be most guys like they don't even.
No,
They don't realize that shit. Like, they
guys
get caught.
don't realize it, and then half the time it's crazy if you're acting like that, and if you're like fucking them like it's theirs, and all of a sudden they get addicted to you. But
I
then
recommend that.
it is good. Wait, so let me ask you, when
It's
you're
a proven method.
it is proven method. Wait, you need to explain, what was your friend calling the blowjob that you give? What was she saying? She's like, the no teeth. Well, I would hope not. But honestly, some guys, like, have you
Do you
ever
wanna
had
know a
them be like,
secret,
I
though?
love when you bite my dick? There are some guys that like a girl to bite their dick. It's so strange. I don't understand it. Mic drop. Wait, what are you doing? Pick it up. What are you doing? Why are you dropping it?
I've never
Crazy.
had someone ask me
Dude,
to bite their
it's
dick.
so
I've had
fucking
anyone
weird.
ask me to do like pretty much anything, and I've never had anyone.
I have
ask
had
me-
a guy ask me to do that, and I literally looked up and I'm like, did I hear you correctly? I'm so sorry. Like, what?
Did you bite the dick?
Yeah.
Oh, I love you so much. As you fucking should. And I would bite the dick.
And then I was like, God forbid I like keep hooking up with this guy and get used to biting dicks, and all of a sudden I go to the next dick and I'm like, biting this dude's dick. Dude, can you imagine? Awful. So you've never bit a guy's dick?
Yeah, wow.
Awful.
Leave us Alex Cooper too in the first 10
You
minutes
know?
of sex. Fine, like the one thing I've never done.
Right. It's
Well, I
kind
guess
of crazy.
no, 3. She's like, no piss, no shit, no dick biting. You're literally so boring.
Oh, it's so boring. Get in there.
But that's why I fuck with
Okay,
you.
wait. Tell me about your blowjob. Why were your friends calling it a specific thing? What do you call it?
No, in my friend group, it just became the way you talk about dick. Almost, it's similar to Gluck Gluck 9000.
Yeah.
It's almost just a term for giving proper head. Like, it's
Ooh.
our Gluck Gluck.
Oh, what do you call
Like,
it?
it's a toothless, gagless throat fuck.
Hold on. Wait. Tana
Toothless. I said toothless.
toothless?
Biter.
Dude, unless you like to bite that fucking cock, you slut. Wait.
It's all about a toothless, gagless throat fuck.
Gagless?
Yeah, unless the gag is fake, and then it's like a hot noise, but you show no struggle.
Wait. No struggle, but also I do. Okay, wait. Hold on. Toothless, yes. Gagless, and then throat fuck.
Sometimes, but then it's but then it's about the hands. It's about
Right.
there's so many vibes,
Dude,
and every guy's different. There's like
so
the
different.
asshole finger ones. There's like
Yes.
the ball grab ones. There's like the hold
Ooh.
my hand because I love you. Like
Right.
don't put your hands on it
Pussy.
ones. There's like
But
the
then
I'm gonna fuck you. So then it's about assessing the vibe, which is also
Dude.
important to a blowjob because it's like what's the best blowjob in the world to someone else might be the worst blowjob in the world to someone.
Dude,
else.
it is the truth, and this is what I'm saying. The
I'm like,
Gluck
I
Gluck
am smart.
9000 and the toothless, gagless, whatever the fuck this thing is, it could not work for specific men, and you have to really try it out because I've had a guy
We want
that
like a dry ass, shitty ass,
and like one
preferably.
slow as fuck,
Yeah.
like go slow mo,
Yeah.
and I'm like, this is
That's
boring.
more normal,
And
right?
it
Yeah,
is
that's
more,
kinda
and it is normal. But then the guys that are like, you're about to literally throw up on their dick because they're like pushing your head down so far, and I'm like, I really can't breathe. Like, give me a
Toothless,
second. But, like,
gagless.
here we go.
Throat
Toothless gag- Wait, so do you go in and you're like, I'm going to literally go so hard and like deep
No,
throat
I
as-
think it's all about the blind side. It's like, I probably like shouldn't suck your dick.
yeah, like I can't even
get
get it
like
down.
no, like
It won't
well,
fit. Like my
oh,
mouth
that's
is
just
so
a lot.
small.
No,
You're like, no, I know my mouth is huge. Fuck, I can't even front. Look at that. Oh my god. But wait, how great if you pull do you do that where you pull like your mouth to the side? I think that guys think that's so high. Honestly, Tana, like, are you doing that? Tell us.
But
No,
that's also
if
I
you-
want to hear all of your tips
Oh well,
because
I
I
think
bet you have some because even that's not like Call Her Daddy listeners, you don't realize how lucky you are because like that's not a tip like that the average bitch is ever gonna give you.
Dude.
To open your fucking mouth while a cock is in your throat.
It's so
like, that's
hot.
like life-changing advice, and that's why
It is.
Daddy Gang is probably like the best in bed type beat.
They
like,
are psycho.
Are you?
Daddy Gang can't even see what we're doing with our mouth.
You like bred a generation of bitches giving just the best
disgusting.
blowjobs. Like the manipulation tactic to a man like almost is a blowjob.
Okay, wait. Do you have like? I know that you've fucked athletes. No.
I think you're gonna say like a person. She's like Addison Rae.
I know that you have fucked. Let me bring up my list. You fucked athletes.
Yes.
What are your experience with them? Well, I mean, that's my like everyone like jokes that that's my like forte.
Oh my God! See,
I'm not proud of it.
and
I
that's
hate
also
them.
why I think athletes of all the calibers of men, athletes are one of the harder ones to get at. Athletes like don't want a bitch. Like they're
Yeah.
ball is life, bro. Like so to crack athletes, you have to be a special bitch. So that says a lot about her. That's actually probably the genre of men that I like. I like a rapper. Like they want a bitch. Like it's easy.
Stop.
Like you know what I mean? Like it's fucking easy. But,
I've
like
never
athletes,
fucked a rapper.
Like,
Wait, is that?
no, but that.
Dude, her face when I just said that, I was like, wait, what's
I like
wrong?
see the new Rap Caviar playlist, and it's just like my sex.
Stop!
list.
Wait, stop! Wait, Tana, is that straight up? You fuck a lot of rappers.
I feel like if you had to think about what I fucked like most, it's probably rappers over anything. 100%.
Wait, I feel like why do I feel like they're like not treating you right? Not that like athletes are treating
why do I
you
feel
right.
like the problem is that I probably liked that.
You're like, I
Yeah.
love this.
Yeah. Oh my God. And that's a problem too. The way I am, I love like toxic, fucking crazy, fucking
Right.
rappers are crazy.
Like it like gets you
like
off.
you know what I mean? Yeah. Like
Right.
yell at me, be fucking crazy, whirlwind romance. You wrote
Right.
an album about me. Oh no.
Like I like that.
I'm just joking.
Wait,
to an extent.
do
but
you like really aggressive sex? Like, are you like asking guys to like choke you and like
Yeah.
hit you? And,
oh
like,
my God.
like beat the fucking shit out of you.
And that's the difference too, is the difference in guys and girls.
That's so
because
true.
I don't want a bitch to be like slapping me, not a
No.
bitch. Sorry, like women.
No, yeah.
I always say bitch.
I always
and
say
I'm like,
bitches here. Bitch is a term of
yeah.
endearment here
yeah,
on Call Her Daddy.
Honestly, to me, but I
Totally.
remember that the public doesn't always think that way.
That's why I
but,
haven't
like,
called
don't
you a
want girl
bitch.
to
I've called you a
slap me.
cunt because I'm like, you're not a bitch. You're not. I'm not
I don't
endearing.
love you.
I hate you.
Fucking cunt. That's so true. That is so.
Right?
I don't think she's called me bitch once. She really doesn't. Fuck
No,
with
I
me.
don't fuck with you at all. No, I'm just kidding. But I agree
but-
with you. There is a difference between like loving when a man like kind of like not beats the shit out of you during sex, but like I do like a guy that's like dominant.
No, punch me.
But like but literally like punch me in the head. But
Yeah.
have you ever had it go too far?
There isn't really too far from me. I think you could literally knock me out and I'd be into it.
Oh, really?
Like yeah, this one time this
I don't know.
guy.
I feel like
I think about this one time all the time where this guy was fucking me and he was like slapping me and I was vibing and it was a vibe.
I
then I was
vibing while this guy was hitting me.
I love a good slap to the
Right.
face.
And again, this is us like giving
Yeah.
permission. We're saying they can do this. I don't want
should say
anyone
that,
to be
right?
like,
Yeah.
let's confirm.
Very
I'm
much
sorry.
consent.
If
Very
this is a
much
trigger for
consent.
people, fast forward.
Yeah,
I'll put a time code.
I
But
don't ever think about this.
No,
This
yeah,
is why
yeah.
I'm more scandalous than
yeah,
you.
yeah, fuck you.
Again.
Yeah. You're gonna learn.
And
So he's
I was
slapping
like, I
you?
was like, punch me, fucking punch me, like, and I don't think I've ever been punched during sex at this point. And this is before I was introduced to the idea of donkey punching, not something I'm not into. But I'm not gonna say I haven't been like punched in the back of the head. I'll go. But so
I
think
love
like,
a good donkey punch. Tana Mojo and Alex Cooper. I'm like, literally the hottest thing, like the biggest turn on in the bedroom is when the guy literally knocks me the fuck out right when he's about to come and I'm gonna come. And it's like perfect moment in time when you get donkey punched in the back of the fucking head.
This is so fucked
This
up.
is so dark.
The levels of this podcast. This is by far out of anything I've ever recorded in one sitting, maybe the darkest
I
thing.
know,
I've ever done.
literally, and like the waves.
But
the
I told you I was
waves.
giving you full honesty.
I love
Like,
it. I love it.
that
Okay, so
was-
he's going to hit you.
Yeah, and I was like, punch me, and then he was like, no, baby, I can't. You know, it's like my normal boyfriend. He's like barely probably slapping me
He's
because I
like,
like
don't
want
ask
him
me
to.
to do that. That's so mean. And you're like,
Yeah.
fucking punch me.
like, fucking hit me legs in the air. And so finally he's like, okay. And so then he punches me and it's like hot and then we keep vibing. He goes, and then I'm like, punch me again.
I'm sorry, but I'm gonna pee my pants when you keep saying I tell him to punch me and we're like vibing. The fact that you're saying vibing.
I remember the first time. It's a running joke between Jake and I too, because he's like, I'm not gonna beat your ass. Like, no.
Right. Like, I don't want a lawsuit.
And so finally he keeps punching me harder and harder each time. And
Wait,
then
he's like punching multiple times.
it was probably like 4 in
And
total.
is this like fist to like side of head or like
face?
Ooh,
this is like a
face.
like
Ooh.
vibe. This is like before I even thought about the body.
ooh.
Really.
And you're like, wait, like don't fuck with my fillers.
No,
Like,
oh my god, I've had people like literally fuck up my fillers sexually. We could talk about that.
wait,
So
that's
many things.
hilarious. Okay.
So many things. things have fucked up my filler. I could probably still show you like all the things I've. Oh my god.
Wait. Okay,
but
so
anyways,
he's punching you.
I start gushing blood.
Okay.
He punches me in the tooth and one of my teeth, like by accident. Like he doesn't mean to. It's like right here. Like it's like one of these teeth. Or it's
And
like
your
here.
tooth falls out?
And my teeth start bleeding. But I'm in it. So when I give a fuck. So my mouth is gushing blood, and I'm like, he's like, do you want me to stop? Like, oh my god, babe, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, it's hot. Like fuck me with the blood. Like I don't even care. And
But
so
you probably also don't
like,
realize how ugly it looks because like blood coming out of your mouth and you think it's hot, but I'm sure like the sight may have not been as hot.
But I'm fucked up.
Whatever.
Head. Like,
Yeah.
It's
You're
hot.
like, it's
No,
hot.
Like,
I'm bleeding. I'm
because
dying.
I would think that shit's hot, which is the problem.
Right. Problem.
The whole core issue of it all. And so then he's like grabbing my blood and just like smearing it like all over me with like fucking my face blood. And to this day, I'm like, that was hot.
And then there's like a lot of people that are like, that's the line, that's the drawn line.
Spitting your own
and we're
mouth
both
blood
like
into someone
that's
else's
so
mouth.
hot. And then you like slurp his cum with a mix of your blood. It's like a perfect little mix of a Bloody Mary in your mouth.
You spit your blood into his mouth. He spits your blood back into your mouth. And then you swallow his cum with his own spit, your blood mixed with his spit back with his cum. Come on, great day.
It's the perfect combination. We love it all. Honestly, I don't want it any other way now.
Dark.
Wait,
But
that
it's
is
not an
kind of really
everyday
dark.
thing. I don't know how we started talking about this. Were you like,
I asked you if you like it rough, and then we started slowly. It got to Tana was bleeding out of her mouth.
so the answer in long form is yes. I guess you could say I'm someone who likes it rough.
Dude, literally I'm like picturing you like
What about
laying
you?
there like, but I love it rough, but like I've never gotten to the point of like blood ever massacre. Like I am so fucked up. Like I'm like I'm slurping back like my I've never drank my own blood basically during sex and been like, this is it.
It's not a daily thing, I swear. It was just
No,
it
but
was one of the first moments where I was like, okay, so I like it rough.
You're like this, and that was the moment where Tana was like, and now I need it every night. Instead of most girls would be like, it went too far.
Yeah.
Tana was like, how do we make this happen all the time?
I don't know if there even is like too far in sex to me. Like I would just be like, oh,
Right.
I won't do that again, I guess.
And I think guys, though, it's hard as fuck to have these conversations with guys. Maybe not your SoundCloud rappers, but like,
that's why I go for them, I think,
Yeah.
too, because their norm
they're
is just
willing.
sex like that.
Yes.
I remember the first time I fucked Lil Xan, and that was just like his like absolute norm, and I was like, I love you. And then we literally started dating. Like I said, I suck.
Tana, these are things you definitely need to look into.
No, I have. Buzz,
You're like, Buzz and I are working
oh my
on
God,
it.
Buzz heard this shit right now. Oh
He's
my
like,
God.
no, Tana, we don't bleed. We don't
Oh my
associate
God.
hot sex with blood.
No, like 100%. He would be like, and so your trauma with this, and this is why you're in that. Like,
No, but like literally.
dude, yeah. Today I was literally telling him about like Ashley and I walking past like an orgy, like with her hair girl, and I was like, Buzz, I'm so fucking sorry. Like, close your ears. Like,
Wait, do you like having like threesomes and foursomes or no?
can I actually? I feel like I've never really had a threesome. Like
Okay.
I've technically had a lot of like threesome vibes.
Right, but it's
when
not
it
like-
always comes down to actual fucking, it's always been more than 3 people. Like,
Oh, wait.
like it's always been.
This is why
like-
I'm happy I'm having Tana Mojo on my show because I'm like, oh, you've never had a threesome that's normal. And you're like, no, Alex, it's always 5 or more.
No,
Okay,
continue.
wait, what do you mean? So you've had like multiple orgies?
Yeah, like probably a lot of like. Well, is an orgy? What's an orgy above 4?
Yeah, I think
So like a decent amount of foursomes and maybe like some fivesomes.
Ooh.
I don't think over like
but were
5 or
your,
6.
but were your
I
foursomes?
almost just debated on a giant orgy though, like in Florida and Miami, really recently, like a couple weeks
Wait,
ago.
like, can
But
you-
it was like all my best friends, and I was like, I don't want to fuck them.
Wait.
Like Ryan, literally, my video.
The video guy over here was part of the orgy, and here we
No,
were.
the theoretical orgy.
Wait, how do you put these together? You're all just in a group chat. Like, would you guys be down for an orgy? Or was there like a reservation? You got an RSVP to the orgy in Miami?
There's been so many different scenarios in my life. Every orgy is different.
Every
No,
orgy's different. Like, you just like,
don't judge an orgy by its cover. There's not like most girls.
Not like most
no,
girls.
But, there's been like relationship ones, where you're fucking other couples.
that's
or
what I was
you're
gonna ask
switching
you. Have you
couples.
done like swinging where you're like dating someone and you've fucked another couple?
Yeah, hella.
And you like that a lot.
No, I mean not now. Like now, I haven't in like years. I was
Right.
just in some relationships where I was. I feel like that's more. It's probably not more normal in Vegas. That's a weird fucking.
Right.
But Vegas sex, like
Sex-
honestly, that shit was more normal in Vegas. Like now, like couples don't just all fuck each other like all the fucking time.
no, I agree,
know?
but I also think it's like a really hot concept, and that's one thing I've never done, is like had a boyfriend and fucked another couple, and
I would
want
always do it, especially when it became normal. If my boyfriend had hot friends and I wanted to fuck his friends, I would like
Tana.
purposefully select the hot friends and then just be like, oh, he's fucking their girlfriend, but like whatever. Like
you're like, at least I'm
and
fucking
then,
this guy.
oh my, crazy shit would happen too. There's been people I've had foursomes with that like I'd break up, and then after I ended up like fucking them and shit, and they like broke up with their.
Wait, that's also no, dude. That's where I think it gets so dark, because I've known couples that have done threesomes, and then the other person gets shady and goes and fucks the other person without the other person knowing.
That's
what you
too.
risk,
because it's all dependent on like who you're dating too. Like you the trust.
Okay, so are you into cuckolding? Basically cuckolding is like watching your boyfriend fuck a girl.
I've never like thought of the term. I'd definitely be into that. I'd vibe with that.
So that's why a
not
foursome
like
would be
cheaty
hot.
and wrong, but if it's like a vibe, like
Oh well, I think
she just shrugged her shoulders. She's like, even if it's cheaty and
I
wrong.
mean, you know, whatever. we all do it. I think that hooking up with a guy that is like wanted by other women is super hot. Obviously.
I agree. I like fall for that.
Yeah, I don't want to be with a dude that like nobody wants to fuck.
100%. I think it's the hottest thing ever.
But are you a jealous person?
Not really. Someone has to be really crazy to even raise my attention. I'm not really. No, I'm not a jealous person really, like at all. And if anything, I think it's become more that way by nature, because I've realized that I need someone who's so not jealous. The jealousy is one of the things that almost will ruin every relationship with me, no matter what and where I live.
Okay.
Because like in the lifestyle I live, I mean, like jealousy breeds insecurity, and insecurity breeds tumultuousness.
Yeah.
Like, you
so
know what I
you're
mean?
not jealous in relationships.
Yeah,
really.
because it's like I feel like if I am jealous now, especially, I'm a hypocrite, because I need a boyfriend who I'm like, yo, my ass and titties are on OnlyFans with Lana Rhodes this week. You have to be fine with that. You have to be fine with 1,000 people fucking jacking off to me. You have to be fine with everywhere I go, guys hitting on me. You have to be so secure with yourself that you don't care, which is almost why I probably go for like narcissistic people by nature, because I pick people with almost so much security.
That they're so in love with themselves. Like themselves, and then you're both just in love with yourselves. That's why you're a narcissist.
I wish I loved me.
Exposed. Here we go. There it was. All coming full circle. The answer is yes. Tana Mongeau is a fucking narcissist.
That was the whole thing. Every single question was just a plot to somehow get that. It's the maniacal laugh. It's the Alex Cooper maniacal laugh for me. I'm going to make that shit my ringtone.
That is actually amazing. Okay,
no,
wait.
I still hated myself for most of this time. I've only gotten to the self-love like now. So.
No, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Should we host a podcast? This brings me to my entire point.
Oh yeah. No wait, no. Literally, yeah, no.
I'm actually just here to not only try to get you to forgive me.
You're also like, my brain is really fucked up.
I heard like you might like need a co-host to like have me on. And she wasn't right. That's my whole pitch this whole time. It was just to be your co-host. So now that we're here,
pitch
Tana.
Why should I pick you to be my next co-host? Pitch me. Give me your resume, you fucking slut.
And I actually have no reason, so my pitch is over.
You're like, so my work ethic is a 0.
I have a work ethic at 0. I'm like, no. Now, but I already blew it. You know,
I
could have probably replaced the co-host then. Wow. Had I showed up back in the day.
But
now,
no.
Yeah.
No,
just
you know
it's a dream. It's a lifelong dream.
But I do think you're doing way better at podcasting than I expected you, because I said to Tana in the beginning, I was like, you're so ADHD. All I want is you to just please. I can't wait for my videographers to get what as I'm talking, Tana is just deep throating her fucking fingers. Okay, this is
I should practice what I've been preaching.
No, but you should. Me
just proving
would you ever
on Call Her Daddy?
You're like, and just so Alex knows, and you put the whole. Literally. Listen to me. Do you think you'll ever come out with a sex tape?
Oh my God! Finally, you asked. Yeah. No.
Really? You're like, if the money's right.
Which it would be.
Right.
That's the thing, is realizing how much. That was the thing with OnlyFans for me, is it was like I've been sexualized since I was like literally fucking 15 years old. So why not fucking profit off of it? Like, and I'm such a sexual person where it was like, fuck that shit. Like I do this shit for free on every platform anyways. So it was, and I'm losing the only money I make because of that. You know, I'm getting demonetized because of that. So OnlyFans would like. Nothing's ever made more sense for me probably in my whole life. Like, which is maybe bad. Just Buzz and OnlyFans.
You're like, OnlyFans and I really are just
we
so
just
perfect.
Get each other.
So you're making a shit ton of money on OnlyFans.
It's life-changing money. It's life-changing for even just like for me. It changed my life. Like it. And then when I saw that, I was like, I'm starting an OnlyFans agency. I'm signing girls. I'm doing the whole thing. This is how I'll like retire probably. I think it's like that. So like. Not only is the money dope, I get but like a sex tape would also just be fun.
Wait, how often do you post
on OnlyFans?
Well, I saw on your calendar, Tana's calendar says like post only or like take feet pictures or something.
Do you know feet photos make more money than anything else on the whole platform?
Shut the fuck
I
up.
could fuck my asshole with this water bottle right now, and I would make less money than if I fucking took this shoe off and sold a stock pic.
Do you
I swear.
have cute feet? No, but like
No,
feet. I don't think
like
yeah.
no, I would not suck my own toes, and I'd be sucking toes.
Wait, so are you posting feet pictures like mad ass?
Oh my god, yeah.
And how does that work?
Well,
Are
but
you
now
giving
it's
it
like when
to
I
the guys
shoot.
that ask you for it.
Yeah, so it's like what's crazy about OnlyFans too is there's a certain amount of money that is like made in messaging and a certain amount of money that's made in posting. So
Okay.
it's like there'll be people that are begging to send you like 10 grand for a feet pic, and then it's like you're figuring that out, navigating shit like crazy shit, like, and anyone, like, it doesn't, you know, like, but I think another reason why I would want to do a sex tape is because I never want people to think I'm like discrediting like sex work in any way, because porn stars have always been my favorite people too. In the beginning of this industry, the first people to ever show me kindness before I had any level of fame were like Riley Reid, fucking Lana, Lena the Plug, like, and it's maybe it's because people are so shitty to people who are in the sex industry that they develop, like Gina Valentina, Kendra Sunderland, they're some of the nicest people I've ever met. They develop these levels of like compassion and shit like that. So it's like the way I look at sex workers is like, y'all are God. Y'all found a way to become rich ass fucking bitches capitalizing off these stupid ass men. Literally all back to like why you talk about blowjobs on this
Straight
shit.
up.
Because you're like this dumbass, like sucking dick, this dumbass thing is like how you can control the mind of a man.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? So
Beautiful.
I just think sex work is like so beautiful. So I think even that, like dabbling in that would be like fun. And how far is it from like what I've really done? Like,
what is your biggest insecurity?
Great question.
Yeah.
She's like, I know.
Well,
That's why I have the number one podcast in the world.
No shit, bitch.
I get mad when Logan says that shit about impulsive too, because you just
I
know
think
you
it's
do better.
funny. I'm like, you're literally pathetic. I don't see you up there, bitch. I see Michelle Obama, me, and Joe Rogan. Where are you at, Logan? Come for me, fucking
You should fuck
twat.
Joe Rogan.
Did you say I should fuck Joe Rogan?
If you fuck Joe Rogan,
I want to go on Joe Rogan, not fuck him.
Oh my god, but
I want to be on
afterwards-
top of him on the charts, not in real person.
Oh my god. Okay, hot. I love
Look
a
at
good
me
fucking.
just looking like businesswoman. Like,
I couldn't host a podcast too because I think I'd fall in love with you like that. I was like, oh my god.
no,
what
you
a
would
hot
just be
bitch.
so ADHD that you're like going everywhere.
Yeah, me always, literally. Yeah, no, yeah, we couldn't stay on topic. So biggest insecurity. Hey.
Yeah. What did you say?
I said biggest insecurity. Hey, I'm thinking.
Oh, I thought you said it quickly and I missed it. I'm like, what is it?
No.
Yeah, think. Take your time.
We were talking about this a little bit at dinner, and I think I always say this: it's not one. There was a point in time where there were like physicality insecurities. Like I didn't like my nose. I would never turn my head to the side. I hated the profile more than anything.
Right.
Under the surgery, I was like, scoop that bitch out, make it as cute as you can.
Right.
And I'd get another one now, but I'm saying like, I'm lucky to be in a place where I got rid of some physical insecurities.
Yeah.
So it's more so. Like, obviously, physically, I'm still comparison. I'll be like, I could look better. My bottom teeth could be whiter. My fucking nose could be this. Or there's always that shit, you know. But for me, my biggest insecurity is more so that, like, I pick apart myself, in my opinion, worse than anyone else ever could. I think it's my biggest insecurity and one of my biggest strong suits, because it's created a level of resilience that most people could say things to me, and it's like I have said worse than you in my head 1 minute before you just spoke at all times. I'm waking up in the mirror saying like innately, naturally thinking like, you know, the worst things anyone could ever say about my appearance, the way I sound, the way I look, the way I walk, the way I dress, the way I talk, the way I date, the way I act, the way because that's what my job has made me do, because it's everyone scrutinizing all of those things. So you start to do it yourself. So it's more so like my biggest insecurity has been untraining my brain from like innately thinking that way, because I've always been self-deprecating too. Like my first like catchphrase ever was literally just me saying I hate myself, and fans just being like, I say it all the time because of you. And then it was like me being like, wait,
that was your first catchphrase
ever. I would just be like, I fucking hate myself.
So
and
dark.
then everyone started doing it, and then I was like, oh my god, like damn, my will to
and
live
then
has
you're like,
always been
wait,
low.
now I like really need to stop
No,
saying that
I hate
because now
myself
other
merch.
people are doing it. You made I hate myself merch.
Like, I'm better now. It was the judgment. It was the face of judgment for me. Yeah, 15 years old, like literally head ass. Like oh my god.
Where did you get the word head ass? I've never heard this.
Vegas. That's like a Vegas.
That's a head ass. You say head ass. What does that mean? Like
you're
like an
head
idiot?
ass is everywhere though. I think it's like maybe
I live
more
under
West
a rock.
Coast.
I don't know.
It's more West Coast. You're East Coast.
Oh,
like,
I'm
probably
East
like
Coast.
hello wasn't something that was like a part of your
like I've heard it, but like
terminology.
maybe in like a rap song.
Yeah, but whereas like everyone I know says hello like every other word, like type shit.
So do you still feel like your Vegas roots are strong and living? You're not to LA yet.
I never will go more LA than I was. I was the most LA I think I will ever be at the point of like Jake Paul marriage.
Yeah, and now you're like edging back.
Yeah, exactly. And if anything, I hope to only do that more and more, because I've seen what this city does, and I think it's dark.
Yeah.
And I think like in the ways I am in every way, like I'm Vegas. Like,
I agree. Yeah. Like I think it's, and I also think when you lean more into it, it almost makes you more likable because you do have that part of you that is different than the LA
and I forgot
bitches.
that.
Like when I
really
look at you, I like it. Yeah. Because you jokingly are outwardly like, oh, I'm ratchet, I'm this and this, but it's different when you're like, I'm from fucking Vegas.
Yeah,
like,
and I'm actually like, I don't know how to live any other way. And if you tried to make me a fucking prim and proper like princess,
it's not happening.
Could never.
Yeah.
Like it's who I am, like to the core.
Do you think you're gonna get canceled again?
Them. I wouldn't discredit any of it. Like it all made me this now. So I'm thankful for all those things because it's like I needed to learn all those lessons. Like for sure. I'm probably getting canceled right now. Like what?
This episode, something you said is gonna like trigger people, and they're gonna cut it into a specific way.
I'm sure everything I said pissed off people, and then of course
I think you did pretty well.
It's weird.
You didn't piss me off.
Even that's like MTV made me realize that though you could say anything in the world and people will cut it however the fuck you want. So it doesn't fucking matter.
Dude,
and even that
so
I shouldn't even be saying this. I'll shut the fuck up.
No. I think it's cool. I like using my job to get to know people because I will say like you're kind of exactly what you are on the internet, which I do appreciate.
I never thought I'd get that sentence out of Alex Cooper. Do you see
yeah. I don't know if it's good or bad. No, just kidding. No,
I'm sure.
You're very I still stand by it. You are smart. Narcissistic, smart, and good. You're like, shut the fuck up.
I take her to the brain scan place. I'm like, sit
the
here.
Title is gonna be TANA MONGEAU.
Is the narcissist? No, literally. Oh my God, it's kind of a funny angle. Like the Shane Dawson sociopath.
TANA MONGEAU is a narcissist, but sucks good dick. I can't thank you enough for coming on and opening up about your life.
I can't
Actually,
thank you
I'm
enough
not gonna thank you.
for making a wish on me today.
Make a wish, like TANA MONGEAU.
Thank you so much for whatever the fuck this charity work was. It's crazy because normally I'm like, I love picking people's brains, and I've never, at least in the last 2 years, let someone pick my brain the way you just did in a public way at all. And like people are gonna be like, this fucking narcissistic bitch. It's all gonna work.
It's all gonna come out. Daily Mail. TANA MONGEAU exploited as a narcissist by Alex Cooper.
But I think that I want to get to know you on the next podcast because I'm trying to be a host.
Oh.
Bye, Daddy. I'm leaving.
Never.
Okay, I'm done.
Goodbye. TANA, thank you for coming on.
I'm sorry for not going on 2 years ago still.
Yeah, well, Daddy Gang, hopefully don't come for her.
Daddy Gang, come for me, but also come for me.
Come for me. Okay, bye.
Bye. Dude. The best thing I've ever done in my life.
What are we doing? How did we just talk that long?
No, I love you. I'm in love with you.
I'm so sorry that just took us so fucking long.
Oh, I hope this is so wrong. No, Alex Cooper apologizing for taking time when it was 2 hours of your charity work time.
Thank you.